And now, Kyle and Steven present another episode of the Go F Yourself podcast. It's Fix. Really? Well, that's embarrassing. The Go Fix Yourself podcast.
Welcome to the Go Fix Yourself podcast, the podcast where we are just trying to fix what we don't fucking know. Oh, I did that. An F word right in the beginning.
Right in the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, kids. Turn it off.
Yeah, people just switched it off. Well, I am your co-host, Steven, and sitting to my left, as always, is the just salmon sweatshirt wearing, birdie juice sipping, tan hat wearing Kyle Redding.
Thank you so much. I made the mistake of purchasing the sweater.
You like how I said salmon? I didn't say like pink.
And when I bought it, I put it on right after a round of golf, and you could not see where it started with my face or with my hands. I was one salmon colored person.
Yeah.
And so, it's good to be back in front of the podcast studio and just be here with all of our new friends.
Yeah.
And we are super excited about this episode.
This
is one that's kind of, it got rescheduled.
It did,
and that's good.
That was on us. Usually, lately we've been like, oh, it's just summer and things fucking
Stuff
happen
comes up.
and shit happens, and so basically, I think it was like you had a birthday party or I had a birthday party or something like that. So we were scheduled.
Well, we got to get our story straight.
I don't remember.
I
don't remember what it was. Anyway, we're excited because today we're fixing our knowledge on a lot of things. It's not just one thing. Now, I think the overlying theme will be like rap. But I think there's so much more to what our guests do with their music that I think is so much more interesting. So we'll be fixing our knowledge on a lot of things today. But without further adu, let's introduce our guests. Welcome to the podcast, Brother Buffalo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since you dropped the F-bomb, I'm going to say, what's fucking up, boys?
Yes.
And get it out there.
There we go.
I know a lot of people, I guess we should have told you before, like
you can cuss.
Swearing is okay.
Well, you started talking about your parents and how we were going to do something. And I was
they
thinking,
love it.
Well, I was thinking it was going to go in the direction of, so if you could like tone down the cuss words, but
no.
I thought you were playing us a little bit because we were talking about it in the car.
Fucking cool.
We're like, no, we've seen all the clips and everybody's dropping F-bombs. And and all that stuff.
In the beginning, when we first started the podcast, I was like, oh man, like mom and dad, they're listening to this podcast. And like, so I was like, I needed to tone it down.
Dial
I
it.
have like I said, multiple swear words already into this podcast. And like,
They're so
I was
proud.
like, you know what? I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to censor myself for them. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm going to be myself. And so I think it was like 4 episodes in, we were just like,
That's when we had to
put the E.
Yeah, we had to
Let's
put the E in the
explicit.
podcast because it was like, this guy over here is really ruining it for everybody.
Because Kyle doesn't swear.
I never say much.
He'll allude to it. He'll be like, "Oh, yeah," like he'll like start to say it, and you can picture it
But
in your
it's
brain.
almost like you're saying it with even more emotion and feel.
Exactly.
You don't
It's
even
more
have to say it.
creativity, in my opinion.
He chooses.
It's my Christian upbringing.
Yeah.
I just never got over it.
Tastefully.
Yeah.
That is the thing. So we're still dealing with a lot of Christian things that we still are holding on to, but don't need to get into that because that's a lot to unpack for just the beginning. Okay, so Brother Buffalo, let's do this really quick. So, like you said, my parents listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
They don't know who we know. They don't know what's going on in Anchorage. They used to live up here. Now they live in New York, and so it's like, tell them who you are in a nutshell. Give them your names, and then basically what you guys do right now.
Okay.
Meet my parents.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, we're, all right. Actually,
This is like a first date.
we're going to go on a date.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like first date.
Yeah.
We're going on a double date.
Yes.
All right. So
Sell 'em.
you have to go to my parents and tell them why you want to date us. Us, plural.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's quite the dynamic.
Rick and Carol are their names
Let me
too.
just say hello, Rick and Carol. It's wonderful to meet you. We really appreciate your time, taking your time out of your day to listen to us say fuck and shit. But we're
Talk about our funny little songs.
our funny little songs. I'm Jake.
I'm Garrett, and together we are Brother Buffalo.
We're indigenous rappers. I'd like to call us city natives that have, we've gotten deeper into our culture, and we also rap, and that started at a young age. But we have a really good time with what we're doing, and we really like to share who we are and where we come from and the people that have come before us, and put it kind of into music. And some of our songs, you'll probably turn them off. It's a lot of cussing. There's a lot more cussing in some of the songs.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta turn up. You just gotta have a little bit of fun.
My parents don't even listen to like my music because it's like too heavy for them. So it's like they only listen to like Christian like worship music on like K-Love.
We
or
should
something.
send them a couple songs.
Yeah.
Just,
We'll make a playlist. Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Yes. But we're just honest young boys trying to make it out the city.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we're just having fun out here, and it's been nice to be able to share it with the community and be able to share where we're from and where we come from. And yeah, it's just been really cool to see the feedback.
We'd love to date these boys.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
I was going to say.
So to bring it back.
Yeah. Well, I am flattered.
I can't speak for my parents, but
Yeah.
I think you got it.
I
think you're in.
I got to call my wife and tell her I'm kind of.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Entertaining something.
Yeah. I thought we were safe, but we're not.
No, we are stoked to have you guys on. We, like Kyle said, we've been trying to have you guys on for a while. I think one of the first times I saw you guys, man, it was it Sundown last year? I think it was before Sundown last year. And I don't know what it is. It's just like first off, I didn't realize you guys were both brothers. Like I didn't realize the actual brother in the name was actually like an actual thing. And so I was just like, oh, they got a good vibe, dude. They're like, you're in sync. You guys do that, going back and forth on the stage. Like, I don't know, like whenever I'm performing, it's like we run into each other. Like we can't get in sync, but you guys are like, boom, back and forth. And I was like, man, these guys are in sync. They're in fucking vibe.
I swear to God, I can feel them behind me.
That's funny. I know. It really is like a second nature thing. And you don't
You just like touch them on the shoulder.
I start moving this way, and he just starts moving.
Just the wind. Yeah. No,
fluid.
I was immediately kind of like drawn into what you guys were doing. And then when I learned more about what you were doing, I was like, oh shit, yeah, dudes, I love this. So let's take it back. You introduced yourself to my parents. We're going to go steady. How did you guys get into rap? What was that? Specifically too, like you both are doing it. Like usually like, me and my brother, we were like, oh, I'm doing this and you're doing this. And then maybe once in a while it can collide. But like, how did you guys both choose?
Well, so we're 6 years apart.
Who's older?
I'm older.
Oh.
And
Don't look
we're both shaved.
Don't look it.
We
I know.
literally, speaking
You should
of
see
like
him last week.
not
He looked like
talking
he
and
was
communicating, we both shaved yesterday. We didn't
For
even
this
talk about
podcast.
it. No, we didn't even talk about it, but it just
in sync always.
Love
I don't know
it.
what to tell you.
You guys are like twins, but not twins.
Yeah.
You have
the
that
intuition that
telepathy.
you guys have. Yeah, geez.
telepathy.
Telepathy.
Kyle and I do not have that.
Yeah. We both did not shave yesterday. Yeah. So
Clearly.
big. Well, not up here.
Yeah.
No.
But no, it started way back for us. Like I was into hip hop like just at a young age growing up, just kind of the friends I was hanging out with, and mom would be in the grocery store and we'd be chilling in the car, no keys or anything. So it's like, all right, Jake, I'm gonna freestyle you a line, say something back to me that rhymes with it. As a little
how
kid,
old
it
were
was
you
like,
guys?
Oh, probably like 12 and 6, or maybe like 14 and 8. Like,
You were already on a path.
and yeah, we didn't have it planned out or anything.
Yeah.
Like
Say the F word, Jake. Come on. You can do it. What rhymes with duck? Go. You go. Come on.
oh, there is definitely.
I bet there was. Yeah.
But yeah, on the chairlift to Hilltop, same thing. It's like just whenever we were like, needed to pass some time, it's like, all right, let's like freestyle a little bit, which is kind of funny because nowadays I hate to freestyle, and that's like it was always me throwing the first part out. So I was like, I don't know.
It's a funny wraparound.
What was like the themes like when you were that old? Like, do you have memories of like what you were?
Nah.
Would you have just random things you would see kind of idea?
Just whatever was going around.
Whatever's
people
in
I feel like there was like
walking by
or
us,
like a, you'd like say like, oh, like this is like the Snoop Dogg song that I've been fucking with lately. And then you'd like maybe like say a little bit. I can like see myself on the chairlift with you. And then it's like, all right, let's kind of like take that. And then you spit a couple of things and I spit a couple of things. And it was like, you remembered that like way, I don't know. I feel like it was like 3 or 4 years ago. We like started talking about all this stuff again when we were doing podcasts and like talking to folks. And he brought that up, and it was like it just like resurfaced this memory. I was like, holy shit, we were doing that. Like
It was funny because
we
I
were
feel like
young as fuck.
I don't remember a lot of like what we were rapping about, but then once I said that, you're like, oh yeah, we had like this going on, and it was like
You bring up these little memories, bro. It's crazy.
I love that.
It's nuts.
I've been like on this path of like looking back at my life as a kid, and I'm like, holy shit, I forgot that memory. Like, it's funny how you're like, oh, that's so fuzzy and warm, and I've been like writing them down more and more. I'm just like being like, man, that makes me feel damn good,
Right?
So I need to write that shit down. So you guys were like getting into rap really young. And what was it that kind of like, propelled you forward? Was it, just like, how did you get into recording and then also going live? Because that takes a lot of balls.
Yeah.
I can definitely say from my side, when we first started recording, he had a booth in his house, and
Yeah,
then
we took a big old break though. Like I didn't have a booth in my house till I had my own house at like 22, I think, or something like that, where I just had my own space where I could go record. I didn't have to go to a studio or anything like that. Like I was still pretty self-conscious about the raps I was writing and everything. And it was a very slow process at first, but then you were off at school.
Yeah, I was off at school, but before when it really started, it was a summer, and it was before I was transferring schools. I was playing ball at some JUCOs and stuff like that, and I was coming back for the summer, and I really wasn't sure what I was gonna do, and I was like kind of in a crazy headspace. Like I was going to the doctor for it. I was trying to figure out like what I was just like kind of losing it a little bit, and what I should do and what direction I should take. And it was just kind of, and I've always been kind of an anxious kid and just kind of dealing with that stuff. And I went over to his crib one time, and I was just like, kind of just aired out. I hadn't really talked to a whole bunch of people, and I aired out to him really kind of what was really going on. And we like kind of sat there for a little bit, and he's like, yo, like I've got the studio, like I've got a couple things, like let's just listen to some stuff and maybe write some stuff down. And I remember walking out of there that day with a song done. And it was like, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what we were doing, but it was like, we rhymed all these bars. I didn't know how many I was counting. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was just like, let's just like download that. Like, I want to hear that stuff.
Right.
And it was like, from then on, like I left and I went to California, and we were still sending stuff back and forth. And that's where we started, like putting stuff on like SoundCloud and just like playing with that. But it was like 2018, 2019 or something.
No,
like
I think that was like 2017.
Damn.
Yeah,
You're right. 2017.
Yeah, we got like a lot of singles out there on SoundCloud. You could probably still
He's
go
got
find.
some crazy singles.
Not even, bro. We both like Tommy.
So you guys have really only been like kind of putting out stuff now
I want to
for
hear this. Tommy, hold on. What's
6
this,
years.
Tommy?
Yeah, is that a
What was
person or a
that?
song?
Oh, it's a
It's a song.
It's a song.
It's on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
Is it about Tommy?
No.
it's about
Tommy.
It's about Tommy.
It's about Tommy.
Okay. I'll look it
Now
up.
we gotta-
We'll look it up later.
Oh, it's been Tommy.
Yeah. I was doing a whole different flow. We were trying stuff out, and
Or maybe I should look
The
it
gang
up right
loves
now.
Yeah, we can
But
play it.
It's funny because like I have the same type of songs where it's like some of my first songs that I wrote that I hate and like I definitely am never going back to listen to, but like I still bump Tommy to this day in my car, and that shit was probably made in 2016, 2017, I think.
All right.
So you guys have been putting out stuff for just 6 years then, really like uploading stuff to the internet? Because I mean,
Yeah.
the way you guys talk about it, I mean, like you guys have been doing this for, did you guys say how old you are currently?
No, I guess I'm 32.
32.
I'm 25.
Yeah. So, I mean, for a couple decades now, you've been doing this, and then you're putting out stuff. Did you have any stuff before you like recorded and put it on SoundCloud, like some tapes, some
There's
mixtapes?
always a few like
He's
recordings.
got
or
a
stuff
single.
like
I
that.
remember him and his buddy. Shout out to Showful.
Oh yeah,
a banger.
There's a couple tapes, like just like MacBook recordings, or like
Sure.
literally recording into the laptop, like sitting in cars, parking lot, just
With
So just
the
going
laptop
right into
mic.
not even a laptop mic. You know how they have the built-in one?
Yeah.
So it's
That's how I got into
music
exactly.
production,
Just in the
too.
Crease of that thing, just
Yeah,
just
put some
rap.
pillows around your head kind of thing. Man.
Fucking your sweater, fuck him.
But
Yeah.
I remember my parents got my family a MacBook, or like our first MacBook, and it was like GarageBand, and we were doing the exact same thing. Like I would like make a beat, and then my buddy who loved to rap would come over, and then I remember because he was like, I don't want you in here when I'm recording, and so but I remember I'm like, the mic is like under the computer, it's right here, and so like I peeked in on him, and he's like down here like spitting his bars, like trying, and we're like a kid, we're just kids, man, and I think oh man, it was gnarly.
But
I don't even know if I still have that track.
Those are like
Funny.
great memories though when you first first figure out that like you can record yourself like doing stuff, and then you know that like it can live forever. I mean, I remember like I learned guitar, and the first thing I did was I'd record all the time at night, and my parents would be sleeping. I'm like, how can I do this as quietly as possible? And I had no software, so I'd open up the was it on a PC, just the audio recording where you do like voice notes, and I had a mic for like doing audio.
Yeah.
And I took my little Marshall amp that was this big, and I shoved it up there, and I turned the volume down to like 2. I'm like, trying to record like riffs, and then I'd be like, it doesn't sound too bad, if I might say so myself. So yeah, it's you do a little ghetto recording at the beginning, so you obviously got much better at it. I mean, to get some sort of studio in your place, I mean, you got obsessed with that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, it's nowadays it's not too hard to have a studio in your place. You know, it's like
nowadays
$500.
What's your DAW? What's your DAW?
He always wants to know the DAWs.
We got a little Apollo over there. We got a Rode mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
Yeah, I think that's probably about
we
it.
each got an Apollo and a Rode mic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys
I
do
travel
it?
with my shit to Mexico.
Yeah.
Had it on me the
And
whole
then
time.
you can just like record it while you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
that's
love
like
that.
the first, probably, well, like all of our albums, really. Like Jake was living out in Girdwood, so he would record out there, and then I record in my spot in Anchorage, and then we just send it back and forth like we were still doing before.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
We've always kind of been able
was a
to
nice
do
tool.
it. Yeah, to been able to do it when we're separate. So it's like
Yeah.
somebody's going out and traveling, as long as you have your mic and your setup, you're good to go. Like let's rock.
You guys both live in Anchorage now?
Yeah.
I will be soon. Me and my gal, we've been moving around. We were in Mexico, and then we were in Florida and Oregon for a little bit.
Oh,
working,
man.
and
Maybe being a nomad.
then we came up here
traveling.
for the tour. So we've just been moving around, shaking. And
Okay.
it's like
All right.
now, like literally the last couple of days, it's like, all right, what are we gonna do for the next couple of months? Like we gotta hone in here a little bit, and we've got some things in the stuff
works.
fire. Yeah.
All right.
We're doing the thing.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I couldn't find you guys on SoundCloud. I'm like over here on my phone. I'm not
Dude.
texting anybody.
Dude, it's not
so it
under
goes-
Brother Buffalo.
It goes
I'll tell
deeper
you
than that. We can go a little,
yeah.
and actually, it's a good because some of our first songs. I'm gonna take it back all the way to Kyler
Dude, run it.
because
Oh yeah.
because that was some of the first songs that I made was for our middle brother Kyler, and he's actually the reason that we call ourselves Brother Buffalo. He was born with special needs. We're all 3 years apart, so he was. Oh yeah, I guess that makes
He's the middle.
in the middle.
we're
Yeah,
all three, yeah.
but he was born with special needs and passed away in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I mean, Jake was still pretty young. I mean, I was still like, I think 21 at the time or 22. So like still pretty like in our formative years. And we hadn't even started making music yet either.
Not at all. I was in middle school and shit.
And I dropped a couple songs, just like one for his birthday when he was still with us. And it was kind of just like a celebration of him. And then one after he passed. And it felt nice. Like it felt like it wasn't.
The whole family absolutely fucking loved it.
Yeah, it's like a
everyone
gift.
just-
That's
was so
awesome.
special.
Yeah,
Nobody, like, I didn't see it
volunteers.
coming.
Oh,
And it's like, my mom will still play that for new folks, new people. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. It's a
I love that.
super like special ode to Kyler.
But that was kind of the first thing that was like, it felt right making music and making something for him. It wasn't hard. I'd always like wrote music and tried to like force something or like, write something sick. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes it's just not there. But like writing the song for him both times just felt so easy and so natural. And it was like, I don't know, something feels right about this. And then when we started making music together, we started talking about him and including him more in our songs. But we wanted to include him in a way that was more representative. And when we were coming up with the name, because that's where it goes back to SoundCloud, we started out going by Grandpa G or Grandpa Garrett and just Jake. And those
Nice.
were two individual names. And that's what you'll find stuff on SoundCloud under.
hell yeah.
But
Okay, I'll be
we,
like, I'm
we needed
looking.
a group name because that doesn't go well on
Right,
posters
right.
and doesn't
Yeah.
roll off the tongue really. And so we were thinking
It looked
for a
like
while,
shit on Apple Music. I'll
Oh,
tell you
it's
that.
terrible. Like, do you make it all one word? Do you,
Grandpa
like,
G.
what do you make capital? It was terrible.
Yeah.
Who's
Underscore.
dropping it? Like,
Yeah.
Underscore.
Who's the
yeah.
feature?
Who's
art? What the
first? Who
fuck's
comes
going on?
second? Like, bro, it was so stupid. So I was like, all right, we got to come up with like one name for us because that's like we had a couple singles when we started, but like we're dropping music now, and it was like Buffalo was our most popular song I think that we had out at the time, and it was like we need something brother related or something like that, and it's like Buffalo Brothers, and that's too like
It just didn't
cheeky
sit
and
right.
like yeah.
It didn't sit right.
And we finally settled on Brother Buffalo because it's for Kyler. He is the Brother Buffalo that can't be with us. So he's up on stage with us every time, representing him. And it's, I don't know.
3 brothers, 1 stage. You don't understand.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's got like, I don't know, when you were saying something like you were like, it's so much easier to write something, and that you're like more like, it's like opening up your chest, right?
Yeah.
And it's like kind of letting people in. And I think that's one of the hardest things about being an artist, because it's like, it's easier to like put your shit out there, like on display, but then putting it out there for people to listen to.
Yeah.
That's real fucking hard.
Yeah.
But it's also like, people are like, they connect with it more because it's relatable. And then like, other people will be like, man, I went through something too. And like, this really means something, a lot to me. So that's, I mean, first off, that's really huge that you guys do that. And it's like, it's not an easy subject, I would imagine, right? Someone, that you love.
It feels really good now, honestly. Like, and I'll still get emotional on stage and stuff like that when we're performing, but like, I don't know. It's like we've tapped into something bigger.
I love that.
It feels good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's fucking
Really
go.
nice.
I think it's like, easy to not do that. And then also look for those bangers. You're like, oh, I just want to fucking write a song about going to the club.
Right.
Right? Like,
Right.
I want to, or
For sure.
right. That's me and Kyle. For sure.
That's what I struggle with most days.
We did actually. Do you remember that we tried to write a
rap song?
hip hop parody? It didn't work out.
what?
Really
Yeah.
good.
Ooh.
To what exactly?
We wanted we wanted that banger. We were I feel like we're getting off track, but like we wanted that banger, and we wanted a video. We wanted to make a music video for ourselves, and so I wrote a beat on Ableton, and then we started
writing lyrics. and-
funny parody lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Just like, I don't even remember what it was, but
Yeah.
we were just being
Mine was about being a gangster while golfing.
yeah.
And so I had all these lyrics like written out, and I was
Clearly,
just like,
look at the backwards hat.
We should go golfing. We should go golfing.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned
absolutely.
golf talk before.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He's a big
Yeah.
golfer.
Wow.
This guy. Yeah, like
We'll
we're
do it.
talking multiple times a week.
Where's your favorite place to golf? In
Alaska.
like the Matsu Anchorage area.
I mean, I'm always at Anchorage Golf Course is
Yeah.
kind of my home base,
Yeah.
but I like them all. I like variety.
I think he just
Yeah.
got paid money right
Yeah.
there to say that.
and
on
now
the
one of our
podcast.
sponsors,
You know
Anchorage
what?
Golf Course.
They're all good, but
Yeah.
the good old tried and true Anchorage Golf Course.
Gotta get this 18 paid for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to pay the bills around here.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. No, I mean, golfing's a great outlet for me to do stuff that I don't know. I don't delve into the artistic stuff
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
anymore. And I wish I did, but golf's like,
Golfing's so calming.
yeah, it's a
like-
weird
Like
thing.
when I was a kid, we'd go golfing and I would hate that shit. I would be screaming, I'd be slamming the golf club
Terrible.
into the ground.
Yeah.
I was a horrible person to be around on the golf course, and I was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
young. But now it's like I've
Still
worked
gets
through
a little
that, and
moody, you know what I'm saying?
shut up, bro. I love this shit now. All right,
I bleed for
I
this.
worked through it. It's a roller coaster of emotions every golf round, just dealing with shit. You just, I feel like you
It's
have so
therapy.
much time to just like
Are
hang
you-
out and be
are
in
you-
your thoughts.
Are you the guy that like will wake up at like 6 a.m?
Do
you do that?
No. I
See,
have.
Nice.
I know,
But I don't.
but see, I know a bunch of buddies who love to party on a Friday night, and then they will wake up at 6
See,
a.m.
no.
and
That's
I'm
never
like,
the thing ever.
that doesn't sound good to me. They're like, oh, we're gonna get up early tomorrow and go
You're gonna
fucking
stay up all night.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not my life, dude. I'll go in the
Yeah.
afternoon,
Yuck.
maybe at night,
Jeez.
never in the morning. I don't know how you guys do it.
That's one of those things.
How
yeah.
do you?
He
Yeah.
he does
How do
it
you do
all the
that?
time.
I'm addicted.
What does it feel like though? Like, are you having fun golfing? Feeling like you're not feeling like shit the next
bet it's-
morning?
I tend not to
Just-
get too wild
Okay,
anymore. I'm an old man.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. See, I like to
Yeah.
drink
Do you
while I'm on the
crack
course
one?
too.
Yeah.
in the morning?
No,
It was.
he's a dad now. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
he's an old.
Well,
dad
it depends
now.
if you make a birdie, like the birdie juice cup. You have to have a flask for every birdie. So the better you play,
Okay.
the
worse you play.
The worse it is. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, we'll get out for some golf for sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
It would be funny to do a go fix yourself tournament.
Dude, we should do a rap video out on the golf course.
Oh,
it's just
I
like
love that.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll
Yeah.
spit. I'll spit bars.
Anchorage
Yeah.
Golf Course.
Here we go.
They're down.
Love that.
Oh, it'd
Yeah.
be up. It'd be
Yeah.
yeah. God, just money in our pocket. Okay, so let's get back on track. So we were talking about something, kind of deep and profound. And so you're finding your way. You're, you found the name, and you guys are kind of connecting, but you're living in two different places. But you're like, who's writing the beats? First off, you're just finding these
It was a mix of like YouTube and
Yeah.
then also like some local buddies. Like shout out to Blanco.
There's been a handful of local buddies that we try and include. And the more recent ones, it's gotten to be all local, which has been pretty nice.
Nice.
But yeah, for the first ones, there's like some YouTube, some
Shout out to Kid
Yeah.
Ocean, wherever he is.
Kid
out there.
Ocean. Man.
Let us
We
with some
wrote
good
his beats
beats.
for a minute.
Yeah. Finally took some of our stuff down. I think we
I did find your SoundCloud.
royalties.
First off, look at this. I mean, we'll have to show this. PJ, if you can pull this,
Yo,
Grandpa
that's it
G
right there.
on SoundCloud.
The Coke
look at,
bottle's
look at the
on.
little guy. Oh
I
man.
love that shit.
I don't have the tracks connected, but we'll have to put something on our Instagram. But
Yeah, we'll get something that one.
so okay, so you're getting shit done. You're finding your creative flow, and then kind of like what's like the next part. You're like,
you know what it is? It was
I don't. That's what I'm asking.
What was it?
stepping out and performing for real life.
Yes, sir.
That was the
How
next
was
step.
that for the
Fucking
first time?
terrifying.
Yeah, it always is.
Super fucking
What was the
terrifying.
opportunity that came up where they're like, "You guys have never rapped before. You're perfect. You're
It
perfect.
was, a,
What show
or
was
rapped
it?
live before."
it was
yeah.
an open mic.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Joku Charlie's.
That's
Ooh.
ballsy.
Shout out to Jay and shout out to Boobs.
Yeah.
Oh.
To Josh.
Yep.
Oh
Shout out
man.
to Dwayne and Terry, aka Matt.
Oh wow.
I saw
Old
him yesterday
school.
at the fair.
Really? I
Yeah.
see him everywhere. Terry D is everywhere. You guys know Terry?
I don't.
Bass player for
Matt.
Mandolin.
Matt.
Fabian.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
he's
yeah. Oh, sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
he's our engineer when Ron's not here. Ron's here today, everybody.
Outta
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so Matt helps us with the podcast a lot.
Okay. So,
I love him.
Dude,
He's the
is
best.
He's a very talented dude.
so
too.
talented.
And it's just like
Multifaceted.
And he's right
Yeah.
here every time. It could be everything going on. He's just
Yep.
like, hey,
Yeah.
man, it's really good to see you.
he's super super lovely guy. I saw him downtown Thursday night, and I was a little but like he was
What's
like
that?
Yeah, define
sauce.
Define that.
I was a little sauce.
What'd you have?
Yeah.
Just beer,
Okay.
but a lot of it.
Yeah, that'll get you.
It's like
Just.
it was a social gathering, and like I get you when you talked about your anxiety, like I get mad anxiety when I'm in social like things now, and I guess it's like since like COVID. I feel like before COVID, I was like a social butterfly, and I was excited to like get out and meet people. But now I'm just like,
All right.
ooh, okay, let's
Trying to
fucking.
Name it.
I have to like
Let's
listen to like.
let's drink.
Yeah.
Let's
Dude,
drink.
I have
Yeah,
to.
right.
It's funny. Like I have to listen to pump up music on the way to
You-
there.
You are built for golf. Like you just straight up. You love to drink. You got anxiety. You got like you're built for it.
Check.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, yeah. So I had to have like a beer in my hand at all times because I was just like still the nerves. And by the time I saw him, I was like, ugh. I was probably not the best looking person.
Yeah.
But such a sweetheart. We love that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about the open mic.
Yeah, tell us about the mic.
Well, yes, we say all that because originally it was Jay Straw that was there when we first went there for
Jay Straw.
our very first, probably like 2 weeks of open mics.
Yeah.
Because once we went to the first one, it was like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like that scared the shit out of us, but it was also fucking awesome.
Oh,
So,
Cut your teeth a little bit.
yeah. So went back, I want to say the next week probably, and did that for like a year. It felt like.
Oh my
And I
God.
was just kind of like getting comfortable, being in front of people, going through all the motions.
And like a lot of the folks there, like the folks behind the bar and like people working and like Jay and like Boobs and all these folks, like they supported us. So it was like they weren't like, yo, stop coming here and rapping. It's been a year. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. It was like, okay, you guys are getting better.
It's been
Like,
52 weeks
Hell yeah.
straight,
Yeah,
guys. Yeah.
Now it's like when Boobs came back, they had the Cowboys would play on Tuesdays and the open mic was Mondays. So if like they liked us, they're like, "Yo, you guys want to come back Tuesday?"
I remember
push on-
that.
Yeah, we'll
I
push on, like,
remember.
a little 15-minute set in between our sets. We're gonna take a smoke break. You guys can do what
Get
you
up
do.
there.
I remember hearing about that. Like, I think I was talking to Josh, and he's like, "Yeah, have you heard about these guys, Brother Buffalo?" And I was like, "I've heard of them, but I haven't seen them yet." And then I must have seen you at one of those shows then. Because that was a while ago though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was probably all 2018
Okay.
and into 2019.
All right.
We were doing steady like Monday, Tuesday. Like
Yeah, we were going. It was
every-
crazy. We'd get home at like
Paid your dues.
4 a.m. every Monday and Tuesday.
yeah, but yeah, it's like you go through.
Do you guys have
It's like
jobs?
I did.
Yeah, we
yeah.
did.
You did? And so
Yeah.
you were like waking up early to go to your job?
I
was-
went to my job at 6:30 a.m.
So you get
I was,
home.
I was driving
oh,
to Girdwood to open the brewery at like 8 a.m.
Oh, you working at Gerber Brew?
I was then. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
But those are the days that you remember.
yeah,
Like those
yeah,
are formative
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Right,
I
getting to
needed-
work,
Yeah, we
puking,
needed that shit.
logging in.
Yeah. What was your set like for a open mic? Like, was it 3 songs, 5 songs? How long?
I think we had like 5 songs because we only had like 1 tape out for the first year.
Yeah, right.
And that one's actually the same thing on Apple Music. If you look at Grandpa G and Just Jake or
Yeah.
Just Jake and Grandpa G, one of those orders.
You can find some
I don't
shit.
know how it's like spaced out, but
We'll
we have
post it.
2 other albums, Paradise and Still Cold Out. And those are the 2 that we really ran at Coots for like a good
For a while.
yeah, a
long
year and a
time.
half. So like just getting comfortable. And like I said, there's like Military Mondays and everybody
people screaming
fucking
in your
hated
face, like,
us.
play
Like,
the
yeah, like, it
karaoke
was-
now.
Seriously?
Yeah,
And we're
like-
just like rapping at them. And
Yeah.
everybody in the bar is just supporting the person standing in front of us. And we're just like,
Oh.
we've got 2 more. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
We have the microphone.
Every Monday night we'll be here.
Open mic
Exactly.
Yeah.
karaoke.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it was sick as fuck, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you had somebody else that was showing up to play open mic that was ready for their set, so they're jamming like playing music over your music in the corner.
Oh.
And it's like I said,
That's messed up.
shaped
all
us.
the
Yeah.
We
that
have no fear.
highs and lows.
I feel like people always say like, oh man, we played every Sunday night, or like for my band, like when I first joined, we played like Sunday nights at Coots or Mondays. We did that whole thing, and it's like, and then by the time we were like, we're never doing this again. This is ridiculous. This is not a good way to live. But it's like you got to do that shit because you got to figure out
At the
what you
beginning.
want, and then also like you guys got probably really fucking good in a year for doing it every week.
And the thing was, we weren't rapping over like any backing or anything. We just had our beats in our phone and we were just plugging the shit in, and it was like,
Oh.
let's go.
Oh hell
Jeez.
yeah!
It was just like,
Some nights you fuck up, some nights you don't.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was like a big thing that I always think of with live music is like stage presence and stuff like that. Like, did you guys kind of like work that out prior, or
Oh,
were
we
you
had-
just like, let's get up there and just see what feels right?
Kind
Yep.
of that.
Yeah, it was because we both were pretty nervous getting up there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just
You got nothing to hide
figure
behind.
it out.
Yeah, like
At
we
all.
we
That's
were
the
talking about
thing.
instruments and musicians a lot of times, like if you have a drum kit, you're kind of hidden behind this thing in a guitar, whatever it is, but
you got a barrier between you
Yeah.
and the people, or
Yeah,
keyboard
I
or
never thought of that,
something.
but yeah,
yeah, what's your skill? Oh, it's your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
and they're
see
like,
what
"All
it
right,
does.
let's see what the fuck you
yeah,
do, huh?"
it better be
And they
good.
just sit back like,
oh,
Yeah,
and it was like it was the competition. It was like, all right, let's fucking win these people over. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, people really fucked with us, and it was cool.
Hell yeah!
It was
yeah.
like,
Usually every night we went out, there was at least one person that had something good to say, and that was like kind of just the
you got
saving
to build
grace
the
of
fan
everything.
base right
You're
there.
like, and then there's that one night you're like, "Where's the one person? We need that dude.
We're like, yo.
we fucking need him today."
It's just a boober Josh.
Yeah.
It's like Boobs
Like, hey,
outside
you guys
smoking.
killed it.
It's like, where's Boobs? We'd like to get off stage now.
Yeah.
Like, play another one. Do it.
When did you guys feel like from open mics to like when did you guys feel some momentum like that? It was like, hey, we're on to something here potentially.
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
When-
maybe a show or what?
Making your guarantee like $4,000.
Yeah.
Making that step up.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'd say at least like it was interesting for the round. It was so close to Coots, but it was a step outside, and it was like the Spinard food trucks, and it was like we had to PG our set. We couldn't curse at all,
Oh,
and it was like it was a real test of like, all right, what can we kind of do here? And we practiced like the week leading up, and it's like a whole different group of people out there, and like people aren't
you
there
have to
to like,
censor yourself.
yeah. And so
Oh,
it's like we
man.
just so we were like, all right, just our beats, and we're like we
That
either
was-
made up like fill in lines, or we just like
Oh wow.
just silenced ourselves like on the mic and just like didn't say whatever and just like kept going. And it was like after we did that, and we had like some friends come out and stuff like that, it was like, okay, we can like that was the first time we'd rapped outside of the building of Coots. And at least for me, I don't know, I'm like simplistic in that way where I can like maybe tie a little bit of like anxiety of like, okay, well, we haven't done it anywhere else, so what's that gonna be like? And it was like we stepped outside, and we're in the parking lot in the daytime, and it was like oh, we can do this. Like we're like halfway through the set, and it was like, all right, let's go. Like let's see what the hell we can do with this city. And it was like, at least for me, it was a nice moment. It was just like not far, but it felt like a big leap.
Yeah, I think Willowa was like what made it feel like it was like another step out. It wasn't like we had gotten a show. We'd kind of like gotten it through a friend of ours who knew that we had started rapping and kind of wanted to give us a chance, see what we could do. Got out there, and it was funny because I blacked out that whole set.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
people talk about that show. I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it was like a lot of people come like, oh, I remember seeing you at the Currency show way back when, and it was like, yeah, that was our first like real stage. Like, got to actually step out. Yeah, it was super cool. But that was like what really kind of was like, all right, other people are fucking with us. Like, got off stage, a couple people were like, yo, we need to collab. I was like, all right, sick. We just been playing this for ourselves.
You're that one dude, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
What's that like if does that ever happen when they're like, let's collab, and then you find out that they don't know how to rap
or they suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. And you're
usually those folks are like pretty like tuned up, and it's just kind of like
it's more like
respectfully, no, like we appreciate
right.
You're
Man,
doing.
you're
going hard and shit.
honest.
But, like,
You're
respectfully,
honest.
no.
Yeah,
I'd
but
say
it's
even
not.
90% of the time when someone's like, yo, let's collab, like nothing's gonna come of that unless like somebody really pushes forward or something like that. Yeah, all the time, like hell yeah, bro.
I pictured
Yeah.
he's got his phone and he's like, you're in a loud concert. He's like, listen to these beats.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of
Oh
those.
yeah.
In Willowa, I don't know if it was, I think it was that show.
It was.
And was like, came up to him or me first and like did the same thing. And I was like, yo, bro, like, this is my family. Like, I'm just trying to have a conversation with my family. Like, please, like, not right now. And he fucking must have beelined it.
Yeah.
Whoever was just like, yo, listen to this shit. And G didn't. He was like, no, bro.
Yeah, he
like,
came with the full
please.
freestyle.
He did the whole
was-
mom-dad trick.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Mom said, no,
You
I
said
gotta go
no,
to dad.
I'm going to him.
Go to grandpa.
Yeah,
Wait
exactly.
for the 808.
the
You can
fault.
almost hear it.
Yeah, we have to say no twice.
Damn. Well, note to self: do not.
Don't show him your beats after this,
Yeah.
Steven. Jesus, that's gonna be embarrassing.
It's the other thing. An email will go way farther.
Oh
Send us
my
a
God.
beat in the email.
Yeah.
I go way farther
I-
than
I did.
Shout out.
I was working on making beats, and I wanted to do that for people, and so I got anxious, and so I sent it to one local rapper, and I won't say his name. Ghosted though. I got ghosted, and so that was like me being like the universe telling me like, maybe this isn't your thing. Like, I'm like, okay, all right, yeah. So I mean, like, I had all these like beats, and I was like, I went out once, and it's like that's the thing, and I think that's what shows you guys is like characters. Like, you guys did that shit, at fucking Coots open mics for a whole year, and like kind of like you went past that, right? Because a lot of people, and I think this is what makes you like a good artist too, because you can tell it with you two, is like you guys pushed through. You're like, you didn't just take that one fucking military guy on Monday and like, oh well, I guess you're right, dude. We should probably just pack up and go.
Yeah.
Do you know country? Okay, we're switching.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what makes like artists is like pushing through and getting through that stuff. And then you get the bigger stages, and then like people start seeing it, and then the confidence comes. And I think that's like, you're like, oh yeah. And then you guys got the swagger when you walk, and you're like, these guys do something. I can tell. I can just by looking at them.
I can feel it.
So talk about that like first Willowa show. You guys both blacked out. I black out all the time at Willowa. No, I'm just kidding.
It's kind
So
of
we're about the
kind of
same.
a theme.
We're
Yeah.
like the same person.
Yeah.
But like, do you guys like remember like kind of like the days afterwards, and like kind of like you feeling like that? Because I mean, after a performance, you like fucking like that was fucking good. The crowd was with us, and it's like rejuvenating, and you're like, I want to keep doing this forever. So like after the few days, was it like something like we just got to keep grinding?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what was that like?
It's
Kind of in that beginning.
it's definitely like at least for me, I play the game with my mental a little bit. So it's like a little bit of like win lose and a little bit like more pressure sometimes. But I feel like just being around this motherfucker and like just like communicating those things and just like, yeah, like that was cool. But like, did you see like so and so? Like, I don't know if they were feeling it. He's like, dude, like whatever, man. Like, we're just out here having a good time. Like, we get to get up on stage and talk this shit. And it's like, whether it's vice versa,
Cool.
like, I feel like, I don't know, there's that counterbalance where it's like, there's a steadiness to it where we might go up or we might go down. Like, this tour tested us. We yelled at each other a handful of times,
Okay.
but like
Yeah.
you come back to that common ground where it's like, We're all good. Like we're chilling. Whether it's like just us or like the whole gang or like whoever it is, it's like there's a very unique steadiness to everybody, which is really nice.
I love that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's interesting because like you say, your tour, walk us through that a little bit. So I'm curious because I think when I think of touring, I always think of like our experience with like metal music. You got 5-6 people.
If we're lucky.
Well, I'm saying in the band.
I thought you were talking about the crowd.
Yeah.
It's like 5-6 people in the crowd.
We're not talking crowd sizes right now. And, van, trailer, gear. Like when in a rap duo, like what do you guys actually need to go on tour? And what was that like being like, we're going to go to cities I'm assuming you maybe have not been, or probably not performed in the past. So like walk me through that whole idea.
Yeah, it seemed a lot more simple when it was like, let's go on tour. Like, we don't need that much. And then it's like
these bars and it'd be good.
Well, then you start to put the whole like crew together and it's like, all right, we're rolling like 9 to 12 deep wherever we're going pretty much.
Oh,
and
really?
like if we're bringing like everybody, like that's like
Damn, you guys got a crew.
Main crew. Yeah, exactly. Because like everybody kind of does something in the crew. And then like I got a wife, Jake has a girlfriend.
That's 4 people, but then you got 5 more.
Photographer, DJ.
Good. Smart.
We got a crew. We got 3 guys who are our opening act.
Yeah.
They're
opening
badass as
act.
fuck. Shout out to Six Star and Biggie.
Damn.
Biggie security.
Biggie security.
So it's like, and that's
that's
the
cool.
opening act is nice to bring because I mean,
Then you always have,
you got somebody to
2 people or 2 things to perform.
exactly fill the night up
Hype.
a little bit with.
Yeah.
Like now we're so many albums deep. I mean, I still say we probably have like an hour and a half worth of music if we're
Holy
if we're gonna
shit.
do a live set. But like we've tried, we had to stretch it to like 2 hours at one point during the trip, and we were almost
We
there.
played the
but-
game. It was fun as fuck.
Was it like one of those like bars where you like, all right, you guys can fill
Time
4
limit.
hours slots?
It was
one of
it
those.
was
And we have
funny situation.
Sean as our DJ, Sean Hemp, and it's like he's got a good grip on things, and like he can spin and he can feel out the room and stuff like that. But it's like we have to have a balance of like, hey,
Can only do that so much.
yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fucking just ring you out for 3 hours so we could perform for an hour.
Yeah,
It's like let's stagger these
exactly.
sets. We'll do like doubles. We'll just play around. We'll like. So a couple spots we'd have like our openers come on, then we'd come on, and then we'd stop, he'd DJ, and then our openers would come back on, and then we'd come back on. And like people tended to love that because there was a lot of places that you were in where there might be like a little early crowd, and you might even, a lot of places it's sick, you like won them back. Like you won this early crowd that maybe in other places wasn't staying. Now you have like them and then this late crowd that comes in. It's like they get to see everybody all again. It's like a whole new show.
Oh.
So we were like trying to play
cool.
the game a little bit, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Where did you guys go on this last tour?
Valdez, Fairbanks, Juneau, Ketchikan, Cordova, Homer, Nanilchik, Soldotna, Girdwood, Anchorage.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
I think it's
That's a lot.
But like Girdwood a couple times, you know.
Yeah,
and, like,
Girdwood like 5 times.
we did like what did we do?
that stretch.
Sundown, Forest Fair, Salmon Fest, Ice Worm Festival.
Ice Worm Festival too.
Yeah.
Went to Cordova twice.
What's the Ice Worm Festival?
It's in January. It's like the winter festival they have in Cordova. They have a big parade that goes down the street. They got like a big ice room they build, and all the kids like are in it, kind of manning it down the road, like a big centipede.
Nice.
But they have like
Oh.
they have a big celebration all weekend, and like a big concert, or not big concert, but they bring some bands down, and we were lucky enough to get on it. So shout out to
Yeah.
Smackbox for that.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That was a good segue. Thank you for talking about Cordova. Because you guys come from Cordova.
We
Correct?
do. Yep.
And so you guys have
Well,
roots.
our parents come from Cordova. We were born and raised in Anchorage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
you
we
have
did.
you have roots that were planted before you, and
yeah.
you guys have put down,
Yeah.
like you have a following there too.
Yeah.
And you were just there. We talked about it a little bit before the recording. So like talk about that. Talk about your influence with Cordova, and then I kind of want to talk about like your heritage and how you're intertwining that with your music.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cordova, Eyak.
Yeah, Cordova. We've been going there since we were little
I can
kids.
remember, yeah.
Yeah,
You
just
guys were fishing.
no, just going down for the summers. Well, it's funny. Going down like in the summers for a little bit, and helping our aunt with like processed fish and like cut up fish and everything. She would process the fish that our uncle would bring in, and then jar it up and either distribute to a family or sell a little bit of it. But she got, I mean, she's like pro salmon smoker, in my opinion, and probably a lot of other
Yeah,
people's
if you go
opinion.
on Instagram, you go to Pam's Donuts. She is world-renowned salmon smoker. She has world-renowned earrings that she makes out of dyed salmon skin, and she has world-renowned fucking donuts that are fried bread donuts.
Fried
You
bread
would
donuts.
never know.
These are facts. Like, she has a
Yeah.
bigger following than us for
Yeah.
these three things. Like
Like
she's just a goddess in that way.
A multidisciplinary.
There
Were you
you
about
go.
to say that?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, I
But
was gonna
thank you for, I always, that's one of my things. I love the word multidisciplinary because like if someone comes in and they're like, well, I'm a musician, I'm also a filmmaker, but I do this and do that. And it's like, all right, you're a multidisciplinary artist, right? I heard this word
hate
so
it.
many years
I
ago.
absolutely
and
hate
fucking Kyle fucking hates that shit. And so now whenever like
Whenever we hear it.
whenever I've been posting on like social media and I say multidisciplinary, I put it all caps, like just to fucking poke.
that's funny.
Okay, so Cordova, you guys are
Donuts,
going down there.
same.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Pam's Donuts. Shout out to Pam
Yeah. Shout out
for
to
making
Big ol' shout out
fucking
to Aunt Pam.
good donuts
So that's the
and
cover of our
smoked salmon.
our latest album, The Fire in the Smokehouse. That's her smokehouse.
Oh,
and
shit.
She took that picture too. So
Oh,
Nice.
big old shout out to Aunt
damn.
Pam.
All right. Multidisciplinary artist. Photographer. Smoking salmon.
She's on council. She's on city council. She's on the tribal board.
Dude.
She's been
Freaking-
doing
Okay, I'll let it pass for her.
genealogy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Pam's an honorary.
Yeah.
She built this genealogy for our Eyak people with the help of others, but like really founded this thing and like built out a web of who we are as Eyak people from the Cordova area.
Mhm.
And
I mean, even with that, she was like discovering other people that were Eyak and like other areas.
like
it was
Yakutat down
super
southeast,
cool.
like just spanning so deep. Like even in Glen Allen, there's some Eyak people. Like it's like they either through the generations either were adopted out or like there was like our grandma's generation was they were sent off to boarding schools. They were Eyak and the native ways and all that stuff was really they were just tried to drain it out of them and teach them either Russian or English or just transform them into something else. So it was hard and there was not a lot of documentation for our people. And in this aspect, our Aunt Pam was able to like put a name and a face to like a lot of things and help us like reach out and know that we're not just like we're a small people to begin with, but like just to know now that like there are more people out there and we have support and we have people that like we can turn to and call family, which is
That's
really
cool.
special.
nice.
That is really quick. Tell people like what we mean when we're saying Eyak, for the people that don't even live up here that aren't familiar.
Yeah, so Eyak's a smaller tribe from the South Central region, from the Copper River Delta area. I'd say they're most like closely related to like Tlingit people, but we're kind of like the middlemen for like the Sugpiaks to the west, the Atna and the Athabaskan from the north, and then the Tlingit to the right. And we were, I don't know, it's cool. The more we learn about it, we've been going back every summer for these culture camps to get kind of more connected to just the land and learn more about. I don't even like the
What's
stories
it?
that the elders
What's it?
have. It's funny that each time we go back, we get a little bit more information. It's never from a book. It's always from somebody's story that either wasn't there last year or like they just chimed in and had another piece of the puzzle that just like makes so many more things make sense.
Like we were walking through the Cordova Museum and Judy, one of our elders, she lives in Juneau now, but she's from Yakutat area. They have all these like you walk into the Cordova Museum, which is inside like it's like a library and like community center and stuff, and they have this big kind of mural thing on the wall, and there's all these different photos, and like some of them are named with specific people, and some of them are just like Tlingit tribe or men in Yakutat, and there's just like it's really vague, and Judy walks in and she goes, "Oh, that's so and so. He's my great grandfather."
Damn,
Oh,
Judy.
I know all 5 of these men in this photo, and it's just like just putting people in places where things haven't been yet, you know,
Yeah.
and like
or haven't been back to in a while.
yeah,
you know?
letting those things interact is like we're learning so much still, and it's like we've like it seems like there's a lot going on, but it's like simple things like that where it's just like, oh, we just have to get somebody here and we just have to like meet and hang out and talk about our culture and do stuff together, and we learn so much more, which is so special.
So what is a culture camp? Like, is that exactly kind of what it is? What you just said?
It kind of is. It's like a gathering to remember and to embrace and learn about the culture for the youth and for the elders to kind of share the knowledge that they have. But we've also been trying to revitalize our language in that because our language was declared, I don't want to say dead, but like declared
It was quiet.
dormant.
It was
We'll say
quiet.
dormant.
On life
Yeah.
support.
Yeah, exactly. With our last native speaker, Marie Smith-Jones, that passed away in 2008. But prior to her passing, a linguist from Fairbanks, Michael Krause, did a lot of work with our great-grandma Lena Gayu, Anna Nelson Harry, Marie Smith-Jones,
Galusha Nelson.
and Sophie Borodkin. A lot of elders, and worked to compile and document as much Eyak much of the Eyak language as they could, because it wasn't written before then. So they kind of had to figure out how to articulate some of these sounds and some of the the more guttural, throaty sounds that aren't in typical English.
Over the years, I feel like we've been trying to kind of figure out how this culture camp's going to work. And we were doing it out at Orca in Cordova, which is a beautiful spot owned by Wendy, and I forget her husband's name right now. But it's a beautiful spot, and it's like a hotel, and it's kind of...
Isn't that like down, like you go
it's out
through
the road.
town, you go all the way down?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I was just there not too long ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
And
Cool
then,
spot.
they've got a little cafe down there.
Yeah.
There's stickers on me right now.
Oh,
actually.
cool.
But we had it out there, and it was nice. People could stay out there, but it was like people that weren't staying out there, staying in town, kind of had to commute out that way, and it was like kind of a round table. Like as I remember it, it's more of like a round table discussion, and it's like a little bit more kind of uncomfortable, and people just aren't sitting around having conversation. And what we did this year is we went out to a place that our uncle has. And it's called 5 Mile out in Cordova, but it's just like kind of like a compound. There's a big house, there's a cottage, and everybody stayed there. And then we just did all the workshops in a house on the Eyak Lake where our people are from. And there was so much more love. And there's like some inner things throughout the generations and stuff like that like have been worked on. And there's just like certain things, but you didn't feel that at all this whole week. And it was like, we got to sit down. Me and him taught a language class where we put together new Eyak words with everyone there. So we made new Eyak words with the knowledge that we have.
That's sick.
Shout out to Guillaume.
Shout out to Guillaume, and he's
that's where I was going with the language stuff was after it was declared dormant, all those elders worked with Michael Krause to preserve as much of the language as they could. And I mean, miraculously, this language prodigy, Guillaume, in France, as a 12 or 13-year-old, picked up an encyclopedia of dying languages and found Eyak in it, learned as much as he could through the internet at that time, which was probably early 2000s, hit up Michael Krause in Fairbanks and I think worked with a couple of elders while they were still with us to become fluent in the language. So he's a non-native person from France that is fluent in the Eyak language. And rest in peace to Michael Krause, because he passed away in 2019. He was also, I'd say, fluent in the Eyak language. But both of them worked to document and create a curriculum as much as they could for this language. And over the last, I'd say, 4 to 5 years, we've been really taking it more seriously, and our cousins and a couple other people that are involved in the culture camps, trying to revitalize it and doing these language lessons just over Zoom when COVID started happening. But yeah, it's been really cool, and we've been at it for a little while now. So
That's fucking wild.
How did this kid settle on that? Did he just, close his eyes, see where his fingers drop, kind of thing?
So
I should have asked him. He was just here for the first time in 4 or 5 years, and came to the culture camp. But
what a wild interest to have as a child. Be like, what dying language
he's a
can I?
beautiful person. He knows 8 different languages.
Yeah,
He's like a savant.
Yeah.
He's just
prodigy.
He's a beautiful person.
That's
Well,
super
awesome.
fucking cool.
Oh my God, it's Jason Bourne.
Shout out to him. But he helped us run this class this last week about making new words, and him and Michael Krause have been working on, along with a couple other folks, an Eyak dictionary and transcribing everything as far as stories and feelings and emotions, and just getting all of these words and everything into something that you can look through and kind of resource and source to and look from, and he sent it to us, I think, the day before on the ferry as we're going to Cordova. He's like, here you go. And it's like 750 pages of just like Eyak words transcribed to English. And it's not like it's not as easy as like a dictionary. There's a lot of different things that go
not
into
laid
it.
out in any alphabetical order.
Yeah.
It's like laid out by concepts. So if like you're talking about being strong, here's all the like the words that relate to strong, and then here's everything that it's
Damn.
Interesting.
That's
like
pretty cool.
different. Like I remember I went to Prague once, and like there was like 8 different words for like the different meaning. Like if you were outside, then there's like a word for this. Is it kind of like that too? If you're inside, or if you're talking to a man, if you're talking to a woman, if you're talking to, if you're in like a social environment, but if you're by yourself, like, so it's like
even
multiple words.
Saying hello to one person would be ishu. Saying hello to a group of people would be lachishu.
Oh, interesting. So
it's like it all
coming like to
hold on, and not even just to like. I just want to kind of like build on that. Like saying ishu isn't like hello. It's like, do you see me? And then you would say and it's yes, I do. So it's not like a direct like hey
it's
hey
like ishu. It's like ishu.
That means so much more. There's so much like
there's just depth
beauty
to
behind it.
It's really cool.
Okay, so for us, 2 white boys that don't really have like a heritage, right? We don't like. I was talking to my dad
Nothing
today.
that we want to look into.
Well, I mean, I was talking to my dad today, and like he started talking about my grandparents, and I'm like, it dawned on me. I was like, I've never really like asked you about like the grandparents that I never met, right? And like, what do they do? Like he was telling me stories about like my grandfather, doing, in Japan and all this stuff. And I was like, I had no idea. So like, we can't look back and we don't really have a heritage, right? We don't have the culture. And so like, I'm really curious for 2 people that that do, what does that mean to you guys? Like, what does that mean personally? And like, also, how is it influencing your life and your music? That's a deep question.
That's a really good question.
Listen, I'm no Cody from Crude Magazine, but like, damn.
You may be a journalist.
Maybe.
It's like kadishli special. That's how it feels. It really has been, because like growing up knowing that we were Eyak, that's kind of all we knew, and we knew about some elders and the language kind of being dormant, but there wasn't a lot of other culture to grasp onto, and we didn't have a lot of elders to talk to, being in Anchorage as much as we were. And so being able to connect with all these people, especially like Judy Ramos from Yakutat, it's really cool being able to put some of these pieces together and actually fill in some of the holes and go out to like some of these place names and say the names that no one said. And I don't even know how long, but it's really cool to be able to feel connected to the land.
It's like a feeling more than anything. It's like you get out there. It's like we took a boat ride up down Eyak Lake or Eyak River from Eyak Lake, and I don't know. There's something like you're out there, and we're driving, taking the boat down the river, and there's just like a big rock face, and it's like I had already known, but it's like right there is like where Eyaks used to battle Aleuts, and they used to like fight them from coming up the river and like defend Eyak Lake and everything that they had there. And it's like just to be able to be there and feel that. And then if you go up into those trees, you can see like culturally modified trees where instead of taking down the whole tree, they cut into these trees just to preserve the tree and just take the wood that they needed from inside of it. And it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's like it gives me these like weird like buzz from like beneath my feet, of just like of being in these places where our people so intimately were that you can like see it. And
dude, that's
crazy.
Well,
super crazy.
I think the big part of that, like we do have some heritage, but at the same time it was elsewhere. While you guys' heritage is actually here, and you can walk the footsteps of your ancestors.
Yeah. And I said it on stage at Salmon Fest. It's like, we're all indigenous to somewhere, so like we should all just chill the fuck out and have a good time, Like,
well,
for sure. And I mean, I guess that's like the cool part, because I love history. I love like looking back and seeing like what times were like differently for our ancestors and all that stuff. And so like most of your ancestry has been passed through word of mouth, and so I think that's the biggest thing that you guys are working on getting this all documented, because so many civilizations just passed through stories, through the mouth, essentially.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like the only way to preserve that is by people remembering and telling somebody else, and then that story getting passed every generation, and like that's so crazy. That's how we did everything
so
for.
unique.
Well, yeah,
it's great. Like what a concept,
and like
to just carry on,
and that's like almost a lot of people's jobs for their whole life is to remember like the story of their people to pass on to the next person. And it's just like they wouldn't want to trust me, okay, because I'd mess it up. I'd mess up some stuff for sure. But so how does that come into the music, like with your ancestry and all that stuff? Like that has to bleed over into the rapping to some extent. And so walk me through how that works.
I feel like it kind of naturally took course because it was almost at the same time as we were starting to rap.
Yeah.
I feel like at the same time we were really getting involved in the language lessons and trying to revitalize that. And it wasn't even like anything intentional. It just kind of flowed naturally. I don't remember what the first one was. It Gnarly or
what Giwa Ikle?
Yeah, where we first started including Eyak words in the song, but it just like it made sense.
It wasn't like I wasn't like making a point to. It was just like my brain went there with what we were learning and stuff, and it was like, and then like we're listening to it, it's like, oh shit, we've got like an Eyak word in our song. Like, oh shit, like I don't know. We've this last week too, just meeting with folks and introducing ourselves and people hearing our stuff. Like there's a couple linguists that we met, and they seeing their reaction and how just like taken back in a positive way of just like shocked that like we've been able to do that, and there's like something out there that people can listen to that has like Eyak words in it.
Yeah.
He was really taken back, and it was like I didn't know the gravity of the situation because I feel like we're in it. Like you don't know until somebody tells you or until you see some other point of view. And that like it was like a real moment where it set in. It was like, holy shit, like we're doing something special here, which is nice. It feels good. Yeah.
Has the reception been pretty positive with the elders and different people, with you guys using all sorts of language?
I love how
crazy, very much so.
That's why I'm like,
really
you have to look at it.
Sick.
Yeah, well, you have to take the positives, right? Like it's getting spread out there.
Exactly, and that's one thing. Like I always wanted to make sure I was pronouncing things right, and like not, disrespect anybody with the ideas or anything like that. But it's been all positive feedback. We even had shout out Judy Ramos. She was in one of our little Blunt O'Clock shirts that we had at Culture.
Hell yeah!
I swear to God,
we're in the morning. We're making eggs, and Judy's rocking the Blunt O'Clock.
He's got a shirt. I mean, he's got a photo, and there's like 4 people in the photo, and they all have our Blunt O'Clock shirts on, and we're just like at Culture Camp, just like hanging out. It's like 11 in the morning.
Hell yeah, Judy!
Yeah.
But it's like I don't think they. Like she cares what we have to say and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, I swear to God, just looking at her in the crowd, she was just like saw like 2 Eyak boys up there. Like she didn't give a fuck really what we were saying, like in a positive way, not like a bad way. She was just like, I fucking support what they have going on.
Oh yeah,
and that's what it feels like, kind of in a broad scope of our family and friends and stuff like that, which is nice.
That gives me a fuzzy warming feeling for you guys, because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, looking at your past and like going from like, up on Hilltop and you're like riffing verses, riffing bars. I feel weird even saying bars. I feel like I'm so fucking
Steven's
white,
so
dude.
white. Jeez.
God. But like,
you are riffing your bars together.
I try to be so cool. It doesn't work. But then like, doing the thing in open mic, and then also like, now you're, in my opinion, and like from outside looking in, it's like you're doing so much more than just rap, right? You're like, you're taking your culture and your heritage, but you're keeping it survived, like you're keeping it alive, but also you're like taking it on yourself and doing something. It's like super beautiful, but then also like the support that like even non-Eyak speakers are like, fuck yes. Like, I mean, I think it's super fucking dope. And I don't know what you guys are saying, but I'm like, yes, I love this. Like, I think because it's so much bigger than just music, right? It's like something that you're connecting, but you're also connecting us to your ancestors and your culture and your heritage. And even though we don't know what you're saying, it's like we're doing that through you. Right. I think that's really fucking cool.
And it's cool in that way. Like
I appreciate that.
Some people you might not know, but it's like you might ask the question now. You might say like, yo, what's up with that? Who are you guys?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it's an in.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Check out my SoundCloud, Grandpa G.
Check out my SoundCloud. My name's Grandpa G.
Okay. Well, so you guys are you on tour, and you're being a nomad. What's kind of next? What are you guys looking for? What's the next thing that the step?
I think getting down
Not a pizza restaurant out of your house. Which, man, I miss that pizza.
I mean, that might be a step.
Just for those people. And
That's definitely a brother business endeavor.
I'd say that might be a step.
dude,
Coming.
just for people, because this is totally, I don't even know if Kyle knows this. This is totally like out of left field. You guys had a pizza business out of your house, right?
It was me and my wife, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's called Three's Pizza.
Yep.
And I remember, like, because you had to go pick it up, and I remember Allie, your wife, and also my wife loves Allie. She was like, "Is Allie gonna be there tonight?" And I was like, "No, I think it's just the dudes. I mean, she might be there, but she was like, oh man, well, make sure you tell them to tell Allie I say what up." And I was like, "Okay, we'll do that." But anyway, I remember Allie coming out with like 2 boxes of pizzas, and we getting home. We ate both pizzas in the same night.
Their shit's so fire.
Oh yeah, I know.
I miss it.
You know, it's funny is I'm ashamed to say I haven't made a pizza at all this summer, but we're about to fire it up this week.
Hell yeah,
get it going again.
Because you guys have don't you have like a freaking pizza oven?
Yeah, we built a little DIY pizza oven in the backyard.
Yeah.
It could use a little love, but it gets the job done.
This is a start.
We want that stuff. That should be like at your shows. Just like, hey,
we talked about trying to work something out at Willowa with one of those like throw the dough nights, you know what I'm saying?
I want in. I want to be there. Okay, so I hijacked that question. What is next? What are you guys looking forward to?
I want to get down to lower 48 a little bit.
Yeah,
that'd be like the goal. I mean, we're rolling with the punches, doing whatever's clever, whatever's coming up, but that will be the goal for sure.
Yeah, as that steadiness increases, that's kind of the feeling of what we got to do next. And like, we're always going to do shows in Alaska, and we fucking love it here, but
we're just going to keep making music too. So.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as a musician, you want to like get out there and like
get the
love.
exposure.
Right, and like play more, because I mean, I'm sure you guys probably now have the bug, like you want to fucking play and perform.
Shit on stage.
I know.
Yeah.
This last year, really.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we were getting comfortable at Coots, like on stage and stuff. We're not even on stage, but just like with crowd presence and like stage presence and everything. But this last year touring, I feel like really like solidified that feeling on stage, and like really being able to like create our own party on stage or our own ambiance, you know. It's like let's just run it. Let's have a ball. I don't give a fuck who's in the crowd.
Love that.
It's more like an experience. Like I feel like every show's different, every place is different. Like the feel you get from whoever's looking at you or you see is different, and it's like, what the fuck are we gonna do with that tonight? It's like it's so fun.
Well, I mean, like, and that's the thing too. Like, I mean, like going back to what Kyle said earlier, like as musicians, we had like guitars and keyboards in front of us, but we also had like, you know, like we were really like, I didn't have to like look at people.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, right? I can like look out to the crowd and you see like a sea of people, or you see, you know, the 5 people of your friends that came to see you.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I can just look down and play. But you guys are like, you know, you have to
make eye contact.
You have to make eye contact because you got to connect with them. That's so much more intimidating to me.
It's wild. Sometimes you meet folks and you just stare at them and they're staring at you.
That's what
it's like.
I would wear sunglasses all the time.
Sunglasses
like,
do help.
Do you guys pick out somebody in the crowd? Like generally
on what's going on, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
I might.
I dance around, or I just look to like the back. That's the one thing. I try not to look down, because that's one thing I notice I do like a lot is I just look down if I'm not really focused or something like that. So I try and look in the back
and just
that's
quick,
what I do.
Quick fire, like lyrics. How do you guys like just practice, or like when you're like hour and a half? Like I always am like, thank God I don't have to ever remember lyrics, but like when you have an hour and a half set, that's how many songs for you guys generally?
Upwards of like 25.
25. And I mean, like, how do you keep it straight? Like, is it just, what do you do?
I'll shout out to Coots. There's a lot of time ingrained. I feel like there's...
Well, it's funny because we used to go, like, if we had a big show, like coming up on the weekend, we were either hitting a Monday or Tuesday at Coots and
we just go through,
practice.
See how it felt on stage, see if like the ups and downs, if the songs are kind of in the right order.
Okay,
Well, we've kind of got out of that. And like even, I mean, this tour's kept us so busy all summer that we didn't really need to practice.
I know,
it was more
all
like
of my
we
shit.
need to. I need 5 days to chill in between the weekends.
Yeah.
Kyle just asked that question, but now it got me another question. Is like, so I've never written rap lyrics. What's your guys' process? And who's is like, you know, like I would
flow and all
imagine if
that
me and
stuff.
Kyle wrote rap lyrics, which we never will, but like I would
Speak
be
for
like,
yourself.
all right, Kyle, Kyle, I want to write a song about like mental health. And then we would, does that kind of how it works?
Lame.
Like,
That's what. No.
Not necessarily.
shut the fuck up.
Ooh, stronger.
You suck. That's the song title.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like more of like this kind of, sometimes we might have like an idea maybe for like a song, but it mainly comes into like when we're sitting down listening to beats and stuff, one of us will feel something and then we'll go from there. And then it's like, okay, well, is that like a hook or is that the start of your verse? Or like, what are we going to do with that? Yeah. And it's like, I feel like of late we've gotten a lot better at like just adding communication into creating music, but we never had to. Like we didn't have to be in the same room. We didn't even have to like tell each other about the verse. It was like I could just listen to one of his verses and be like, oh, I already know what I'm going to write about. Like, and it was this very fluid thing that now, because we've had to like step into studios and like be with other folks and stuff like that, where we've had to learn a little bit of like communicating right there in the moment, or like trying to, which is hard. It was hard. It's a little hard, but it's like, it feels good. I feel like we're just adding things to the tool belt and just like, I don't know.
It's collaborative.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think there's like maybe 5 songs total where it was like, this is the direction we're going to go on this song, just before we even started writing it. Like everything else has just gone off. Whoever starts the song, they kind of set the feeling or the vibe for the song, and then whoever finishes it just kind of follows that. And we have a nice little balance where we're constantly sending songs back and forth, where I'll start one, he'll start one, and just go from there. And then it's funny because there's always a couple where it's like, no, you just killed that. That's going to be its own song by itself.
You can tell.
Like, it's your single. Like, I'm not going to get on that track.
That's humbling.
Yeah.
It's cool. And it's, I don't know, it just feels normal.
Do you guys ever got to throw the honesty card out when some of the bars are a little lacking?
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Sloppy bars.
So. Maybe I'll say something questionable and she's like, are you sure you want to say that?
Yeah.
You so.
Yeah, where it's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm like, all right.
Let's do it.
Do the shit. Double check.
You do you, baby.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, you got to have that kind of somebody that kind of
Ebb
keeps you in
and
check,
flow.
but also is like trusts you that maybe that is going to be a banger, whatever it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you about my lines. Okay, trust me, they're good.
I'll just be your DJ, dude.
Perfect.
I don't even know how to DJ, but I'll just do it. Okay.
Perfect.
Well, I mean, I think like I love what you guys are doing with your music, and I love, listening to you guys, and like we talked about, seeing you perform. And I feel like and then also like, this is something we could talk about too, is like your style. And I think everybody always is like, what's your voice, dude?
Yeah.
What's your
sound?
what's your sound?
What do you rap about?
But like, you guys have a unique, different sound. Like, where did that just come? Like, basically, did it come from just like spitting? Man, here I go again. I just can't say
Fucking
I can't say it without sounding like a fucking idiot. Anyway, but yeah, but like, going up to Hilltop, what would just like kind of like you were just flowing.
Yeah.
Just like how you guys are.
Yeah.
Man, I'm jealous because
That's-
there was a time, and I'll fucking say it. It's embarrassing, but like I loved freestyling in my car by myself. So I'll go on Spotify and like find instrumental music.
Yeah.
And I would
get into it a little bit.
I don't know if I've told many people that.
Alicia, prepare for I'm going to be spitting. I could see that.
There's bars coming.
Listen,
Are you
babe, I
ready
just
for
gotta
these
do
bars?
this. I just gotta do this. She can actually rap and way more than I can, and way better than I can. All right, so when you guys aren't working on rap music, like what are you guys doing? What's like, we'd love to say like, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What's inspiring you? But also like after a night, like
When you want to tune down,
tune out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you tuning in to?
whatever,
Man, not just off the dome right there.
I'm definitely tuning into the fucking Bad Friends podcast.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just behind that shit. I love that podcast. Andrew Santino,
Andrew and Bobby.
and
Yeah.
I'm Bobby.
They're
Bobby.
fucking wild.
Jetski Johnson.
Those boys, man. Every time I see them on like TikTok or something, or like I listen to one of their podcasts, they're fucking wild boys, dude.
They're crazy.
And I love
Oh
them.
my
I
god,
know.
I laughed so hard. I went and watched them in Portland.
Oh, really?
I went and watched them, and then we went and watched. Was it the same night? We went and watched Nick or Medium Build.
Oh, nice.
No, Nick and Medium Build. Fucking Nick and Medium.
I mean, yeah,
Even
that
built in
works.
Ashley. They
That
were
works.
they were playing down in Portland when we first got there
Oh, nice.
a couple months ago. So we went and watched them at like the old church it's called, and it was so special in there. It was such a cool venue. It's like it's literally an old church. So you got pews still in there. Everybody just like sits in them.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
And the acoustics in there are crazy. You don't need much. So like it
man.
was super intimate.
I love that.
Hmm. It was fun.
So bad friends for you. Then that's
Oh.
kind of your guilty pleasure.
I'm a Channel 2 news guy.
You are Grandpa.
Come
Yo,
10
shut the
o'clock, you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
You like
yeah.
you like to have a grasp
You like
on
to
what's
stay
going
up-
on.
up to date on
I wanna
current
know the
events.
Weather, you know?
Yeah.
Like
What's going on in my
local
city?
Sports just happened. You know what I'm
Why
saying?
is that? You
But
just like is
honestly, I think it's from like growing up,
Consistency?
like, our mom and pops, like we'd watch like Law and Order SVU,
Dun, dun,
the
dun,
news,
dun,
and then
dun.
Seinfeld was on right after.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I got
like
religiously.
yeah. So
Oh,
like
shit.
every night. So that's kind of just like the nice routine. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Put the news on. I know it's time for bed. Stop laughing at me, bro.
I'm just thinking in my head, like, I'll go to show him like a Netflix show. He's like, yeah, I don't fucking like that.
do they have the news on Netflix? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that are like Family Guy or King of the Hill to fall asleep
Oh,
to usually.
Family Guy. Yeah, that was my go-to for years, dude.
Yeah.
Years.
I think we actually just finished up last night. We got to like all the new stuff. I'm like, all right.
I haven't even watched. Like, I always go back and watch old stuff because I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna get
Right.
into, and it's like
Season 15.
same like why people watch like The Office for
Shut
like
up.
years and years
Yeah,
and
I
years.
Love that shit.
Yeah. see?
Yeah, I mean,
He
I
knows
do
what he's
too.
talking about.
But like, I mean, me and my wife, we've watched it, you know, like every season, like once a year for the last few
Yeah,
years,
you
right?
go-
It's just like
Yeah.
it's comfortable.
You get to season 4 or 5, and then you start back over. That's my thing with The Office.
Yeah,
That's what I
'cause it gets
say.
a little.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Ferrell's funny, but is he?
He's
that
not
funny in
Office.
The
Yeah, he's not Office funny.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
I love Will Ferrell. All right, but
What do you?
we all do.
We never do this, Kyle. What are you reading, watching, or listening?
ooh,
Oh boy, a lot of golf stuff right now.
Golf.
Yeah.
And I was still watching some refurbishing stuff when they take like old
Oh, yeah, he's
guns.
still on that?
on YouTube, and they oh my god,
Hell
they put it in
yeah.
the acids and stuff, and they clean it all up like a
Yeah.
old gun that they found.
Yeah.
we
Dude,
talked
my
about
Amazing
this.
God.
Roadshow.
We talked about this last. What was it last week? on the
Yeah,
podcast?
and I just can't get enough of it.
And like his thing is that, and then my thing was like anytime like a someone who's making like a Chinese teapot, like from clay, and
Yeah.
it's like just and then there's no music, it's just like the sounds of them working.
ASMR.
as fuck.
ASMR. I'm like, I will just watch that shit. It's so soothing. Like I am into that shit.
Damn,
Yeah, I love it.
That's neat.
It is. It's really cool. And then you see like this fucking beautiful ass teapot afterwards. But yeah, he's in a refurbished
Both of
stuff.
those are very.
I was gonna say that should go well with his rapping.
Yeah.
Maybe you can work that in.
Making a teapot.
Whipping up a teapot.
Yeah,
Bars,
I like-
bars, bars.
I'm a little teapot.
Yeah, street cred.
I
Is,
just finished. I finally finished Rick Rubin's The Creative Act. Have you guys been into this? Do you know who
What's
Rick
it
Rubin
on?
is?
I do.
Is
What's
that
it on?
a new show?
It's a book. It's a
Oh.
book. It's just a beautiful. It's like it now. I'm saying it. It's like my.
Platforms that on?
yeah. I didn't see that on Netflix.
The news.
Can I watch it?
Yeah, it's on channel 2. No, it's a thick book, but it's barely like I don't know. There's like just pages with like poems on it or something like that, or
Yeah.
just like a little advice.
Bite
But it's
size.
basically like Rick Rubin's advice that he's learned through working with artists and like trying to harness their potential and like bring out like something